Okay, guys. So data objects are used in program to hold the data temporarily only during program runtime. Okay. So where the data stores permanently
In the database.
Database.
in the database in the form of how the data is going to be organized in the database
In forms
In the
of
form of
in the
table.
form
Table
of
tables.
tables. Okay. So depends on the data we maintain different tables. For employee master data we maintain one table. For employee salary data we maintain one table. Right? It's like a folder. Right? In some folder we organize some data. In the other folder we organize other data. Right? We don't keep all the files randomly. Right? So
Yes,
in
sir.
database, data will be saved permanently in the form of tables. But here in the programs, when we are executing the program, when we are running the program, we need to process some data, right? For example, you are using a program to process employee salary, right? So to do that, you need to first select the data, right? What is the employee? What is the employee number? What is the employee name? What is the salary? To apply some conditions, first we need to check the data, right? We need to see the data, right? So when the program is executing, first we fetch the data from database into the program to do the calculations, right? Where we can keep the data in the program level. Where we can keep the data in the program level. For that, we use data objects to store the data temporarily only during program runtime. Once the program is execution is completed, all the data, all the memory created for this data objects will be vanished or deleted. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
So when you are creating a program, when you are working on the program to hold some data for calculations, for displaying somewhere, right? Whatever the operations you want to perform, first we need some data, right? We get that data from database into the program level and we keep that data. We need to keep somewhere, right? We need to create some memory, right, for the data to keep the data in that memory. We need to create some memory. From where we are going to get the data? Go back to our SAP R3 architecture. Data resides in database where our program will execute. Here, right? Programs will be available in application layer, right? So the program is going to be executed here and we are going to fetch the data from database and temporarily we are going to store the data in application server level. Where we are going to store the data in application server level? If it is database level, we can store the data permanently in database tables. But since we are, for our program execution purpose, we are going to get some data to perform some calculations into the application program layer level. We are going to keep that data, whatever the data we fetched from, we read from database. Where you are going to keep that data in the application level? In the form of data objects. Okay. In application layer level, we have data objects to store the data temporarily as long as the program execution is active. Once the program execution is completed, all the data which we read from the database into application layer will be vanished, deleted. All the memory also deleted. Okay, clear? That is the purpose of data objects. We are going to use data objects in the program to hold the data temporarily as long as the program execution continues. Okay, is everyone clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Now, there are different types of data objects. There are different types of data objects like variables, constants, work areas, and internal tables. So we'll discuss one by one. To store the data in application program temporarily, right? So we cannot store the data permanently in application program level. Okay. So for our calculation purpose, for our uh, program logic purpose, we read the data from database and keep the data somewhere in data objects in the form of data objects temporarily. Once the program execution is completed, all the memory will be cleared. Okay. So here, how to define a data object? First, to keep some data, first we need to create some memory, right? First we need to create some memory and we can store the value. How to create that memory? How to create that memory in a program level? For that we have a keyword data. What is the use of data keyword? It is used to define a data object to store some data. Okay. Now, what are the different data objects we have? We have variable. What is variable? It can store a single value. It can store a single value. Please observe carefully. You need to understand the difference. In variables, what you can store? A single value. For example, employee name. That is a single value, correct? How to define this variable? Using data. This is the keyword. Using data. And we need to assign a name, some name, whatever the name we want, relevant name. For example, we are using that variable for employee name. Some LV name. LV means local variable. LV underscore name. We are going to assign some name for the variable. What is the type? Type and the data type. What is the type of employee name?
Character.
Character, right? Employee name contains characters, numbers. Sorry, yeah. In few names we can also observe numbers. Um, it's a character type, and we need to define the length. What is the length of this value? Character 40, character 30, or character 40. So 50 depends on the requirement. We are going to define that length, and we can store a single value in that variable during program runtime, right? When you define this statement, data, variable name, type, data type, what will happen? It will create some memory space. It will create some memory for this value in application layer level. Okay, clear? And once you defined variable, you can pass the value, whatever the value you want, you can pass it to the variable. So as long as the program execution continues, that variable hold that value. Okay, clear? And if you want to change the value, you can clear the existing value and you can pass the new value. That is also possible. Okay. For example, there is one employee name already there in the variable in the memory. So if you want to update that employee name, what you can do, you can clear the value and you can provide the new value, right? The values of the variable can be changed. Okay. Okay. We can store only a single value. What is the keyword? Data is the keyword to define variables. Okay. The value of the variable can be changed during program runtime. You can update the existing value with the new values. Okay, and we need to use data statement to define the variables. Is everyone clear? What is the example for variable?
Employee name.
Example, employee name or
Their
city,
salary.
whatever city or DEP department. You can store a single value, any of this single value. The how variable looks like, let me show you. So when you define the variable will be like this, a single value. Let's assume it as a single city, variable for city, and this is the value. How to define this variable? Now observe, what is the keyword to define the data objects?
Data.
Data
Data.
is the keyword. How to define this variable? Data is the keyword.
Variable
Whatever
name.
the, please observe one thing, whatever the letters I am typing in uppercase, they are the keywords which we should use as it is. Okay, which I am typing in lowercase are names, relevant name what we are going to assign. Okay, that can be anything, depends on the user choice, they can assign the names. Okay, I'm assigning a name. What is the value? City, right? It's a city value, right? I'll use like this, lv means local variable, lv underscore city. Type, what is the data type? What is the data
Character.
type we can assign for
Character.
city? Yes, character. type
Character.
c Type C. Do we need to provide the length or not?
Yes, sir.
If we
Yes,
don't
we
provide
do.
the length, by default, single character. It will take, I think,
If those
it will
are
take only last character, that is D. We can store only the last letter. Length, for example, 40. Now, a memory will be created in the application level to store that city value. Depends on the data type and length. It will occupy some memory in the application layer level. Right? You should be you should analyze before going to provide the length, because we should not use incorrect length, unnecessary length. Okay, for example, you made it 100, but that is not required. It's going to unnecessarily occupy the memory, right? Yes or no? It will unnecessarily
sir.
occupy the
Yes.
application server memory. If everyone do the same, what will happen? If all the programs are running at the same time, there is not enough space to process all the programs, and programs may not work properly, right? That's why we should always use a relevant length, whatever the length required, that's it. Okay, now in this variable we can store the value, city value, whatever the city value in the program level. How can you store the value? Like this, lv underscore city equal to Hyderabad. Now the value Hyderabad will be moved to city, lv city. Okay, so it contains the value now. LV city contains a value, that is Hyderabad. So you can use this variable for your calculation purpose throughout the program. Okay. Once you assign the value,
Sir.
yes.
Sir, is it necessary to write the Hyderabad name in the capital?
I'll explain that little later. But yeah,
Okay, sir.
there are two. It depends on the requirement. In few values, we maintain only in uppercase. Few values are case sensitive. Those values should be maintained whether in if they are in uppercase, we should maintain in the uppercase. If they are in lowercase, we should maintain in the lowercase, right? But please observe carefully, by default, all the data, all the values will be converted to uppercase when you are storing the data in the tables, right? Database tables, right? In SAP ABAP, if that is not a case sensitive, if that is not a case sensitive, I'll show you that property when we are creating the tables. Okay, that case sensitive property, for which field we are going to apply that case sensitive property. But please observe, if that field does not contains any case sensitive property, by default whatever the case you enter in uppercase, lowercase or camel case, it will automatically convert everything into uppercase.
Uppercase.
That's a good question. Okay, it will automatically convert everything into uppercase. Even you enter in the lowercase, when it is saving in the database table, it will convert the data into uppercase, right? If there is a case sensitive property applied, then it will take as it is. If you enter in uppercase, it will take as uppercase. If you enter in lowercase, it will take lowercase. It won't convert that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now we have assigned one value for the variable. Can we change this value little later after few lines of code? Yes, we can
Yes.
change.
Yes, we can.
Depends on the requirement. We can change the value of the variable any number of times. After this, I will clear lv underscore city. What it will do? It will clear whatever the value available in the memory. It will clear whatever the value available in the memory, and you can assign the new value equal to Chennai. Clear? So clear statement is used to clear the values in the memory. We'll see little later. Don't worry about all these things. Just concentrate on the data objects and the right. So variable is a data objects which we use to store the data. Sorry, single value. Okay, which we can use to store the single value. Now, what is the next one? Constant. What is constant? Constant is a data object, right? Constant is a data object where we can store the value, but how it is different from variable?
The
It
entire
It
is
is
value can
constant. It
change.
won't change.
Constant's value cannot be changed during program runtime. Whatever the constant you assigned, it is always same. You cannot change it. Once you assigned one value to the constant, it remains same throughout the program. You cannot change it, right? When you have such requirements, what is the type you are going to use? Constants.
Constants.
Okay. How to define a constant? To define a variable, we have data statement. How to define a constant? So this is the syntax, or this is the keyword to define the constant. Constant name, type, data type, and value. Here, what is the difference? For data type, you don't need to assign the value. You can assign the value later once you defined it. But here in the constants, you need to assign the value when you are defining it. Okay. Syntax will be constants. For example, constant name. For variable, I've taken LV name, LV city. Do we need to take the same name? I've assigned LV underscore city as the name, right, for variable. Can we take LV underscore employee and assign the city value? Is it possible?
No.
I'll use this name as LV employee, LV underscore EMP, and I'll try to assign city value to this LV underscore EMP variable. Is it going to allow or not?
Yes, sir.
It will allow, but it doesn't make it doesn't care about the name, right? You
Yes,
can give
sir.
any name. You can give any name, and you can assign the value. But doesn't make any sense. right? Because you are trying to use a variable for the city and you are naming it as a employee, right? That doesn't make any sense, right? Still it will accept the name. Whatever the name you give here, it will accept that value. It will define the data object. But that doesn't make any sense, right? When we are using variable for a particular value, we need to provide relevant name. Okay? You need to provide a relevant name. Clear? There is no rule that you have to give the same name, LVCT. Okay? The program won't stop you if you use a different name. Is everyone clear? Name
Yes,
can be
sir.
our choice, but we should provide a relevant name. By looking at that data object, we should be easily identify what is the data object this is. Is it a constant? Is it a variable? Right? We should be able to easily identify that. Okay? Now, for constants also, I'm going to assign a value. For example, some C underscore DEPT type. What is the type of department? It depends. In some companies, they
Correct.
use 10, 20, 30 as department numbers. In some companies, they use names, SAP department, Java department, IT department, like that. It depends, okay? For example, let's consider it as character, type C, length 10. And what is the difference between constant and variable? Constant values can be changed during program runtime. Sorry, variables values can be changed during program runtime, but constants cannot be changed. Here, we need to assign the value. What is the value we are going to assign, right? For example, some SAP department. Now, value will be assigned to constant value. It's constant data object, right? Is everyone able to understand the difference between variable and constant? Here also, it will create a memory space to store the value in the application memory level. Okay, clear? Is everyone clear on this?
Yes, sir.
Next, work area. So we have completed variable constants. Next, work area. What is a work area? Work area is a data object which we can use to store the single record. Single record. Please observe in the for the variables and constants, I have used a term called value, single value. For the work area, what I am calling? Single record. What is a record? This is the record. It contains three fields, three different fields it contains. For example, employee ID, employee name, and city. This is a record. Individual fields, we call them as values. Individual values, right? Altogether, these multiple values are forming a record with some meaningful information, right? So what is the use of work area? Work area is a data object which we can use to store the record in the program runtime. Clear? So what is the record and what is the difference between value? We'll see. So work area can be used to store the single record during program runtime. It's a general term. What is the difference between value and a record? So this is the value. This is the value which contains a single value, city or department, right? Now, what is a record? Record contains a group of fields with some meaningful information. Group of fields with some meaningful information like this. Okay. This is called a record. For example, number, some number, name. Now observe, we have some meaningful information here, right? Or let me add one more field if you want. For example, some SAP department. So this is some meaningful information, right? We have employee and we have the employee name and we have that employee city. So what do we call this? What do we call this such kind of information?
Record.
Record.
A record we call it, right? It's a meaningful information with group of fields. It is these two are individual fields, constant or variable. These are individual fields. We can maintain any one value. But here in record, we maintain group of fields with some meaningful information. That's called a record. Okay, you should be clear on this. Okay, so what is work area? Work area is used to store the single record in program runtime. Okay, a single record with multiple fields. Record contains multiple fields, please remember, and the single value or single field contains only single field. Clear? Is everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, oh, sorry, we need to see how to define a work area, right? So what is a keyword to define the work area? Here observe, data, work area name, type, table name or structure name. It is a little different from variables and constants. Here we need to use the table reference because we are defining a record with multiple fields, right? So for that reason, we need to define data work area with reference to table name. Okay, data. For work area, I'll use a different naming standard. As per my choice, I'll use like WA underscore so that when I look at this code, right, I can easily identify what type of data object it is. For example, EMP type, some table name, uh, employee table. That's it. So it will define a work area with whatever the fields available in this table. If this table contains 10 fields, it will define the work area with 10 fields. Okay. But what is the difference between table and this work area? In the table, data will be stored permanently, but here in the work area, data temporarily stores only program runtime. Clear? Is everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is next one? Internal table. What is the fourth data object? Internal table. What is the internal table? Internal table is similar to work area. It is also used to store the record temporarily during the program runtime. But only what is the difference? In work area we can store only a single record, but in internal table we can store the multiple records, more than one record, one or more record. Okay, in internal tables we can store one or more records. These are also temporary, only during program runtime. Don't confuse between internal table and database table. So database table can store the data permanently. What about the internal table?
Temporary. It stores
Temporarily,
temporarily.
only during program runtime, as long as the program is active and running. Once the program execution is completed, all the data objects will be deleted. All the memory will be deleted, right? We access data from the database, keep it in the application level in the data objects, and perform our calculations and close the program. That's it. Clear? So this is the keyword to define the internal table. Data, internal table name, type table of table name or structure name. Okay. So type table of use to define the internal table name. Clear? Is everyone clear on the difference between variable, constant, work area, and internal table?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in internal table we can store, in variable we can store a single value, right? And in yeah, we can change the value during program runtime. We can clear the value of the variable. Constant, constant is a data object which we store the value, but the value, whatever the value available in the constant cannot be changed, cannot be cleared, cannot be deleted. Once you assign the value to the constant, it remains the same. You cannot change it. Okay? Clear?
Yes, sir.
When we are working on the programs, you can get to know the difference between variable and constant. When we use the variable, when we use the constant. Okay? Next, work area. So work area, a data object which can store a single record during program runtime. Okay? What is the difference between a single value and a record? A record contains multiple fields with meaningful information. Okay? A record contains multiple fields with some meaning which combines it will provide a meaningful information. Okay? So in work area we can store only a single record, one record during program runtime. What about the internal table? Internal table is used to store the data temporarily during the program runtime. It can store the multiple records, more than one record, one or more records. Clear? That is the difference between variable, constant, work area, and internal table. Is everyone clear on this?
Yes, sir.
If you have any questions, please let me know because it is very important. Now, how we can pass the data to the data objects, how we can pass the data to the data objects, and how we can access the data in the data objects. Where the data permanently resides?
In the database.
Database.
In the database.
Tables.
In the database. So we can access the data from database into data objects. If you access only a single field, for example, you are going to read only a single value, that is employee name. For example, employee 100. There is an employee called employee number 100. We want his name. From the database, we read it. What is the suitable data object for that value? Employee name.
Work, work area.
We are reading only one value, right? Employee name.
Variable.
That's it.
Variable. Variable.
Variable is suitable, right? We are reading one single employee name, right? Variable is suitable. Let's say we want to read from the database the employee ID, employee name, and city. We want to know that complete information of the employee, not only the employee name. We want employee ID, employee name, city, and department. Now, what is the suitable data object in the program we need to use to store
Work
those
area.
data? Work area.
Work area.
Now, I want to read data from the database where all the employees belongs to Hyderabad.
Internet table is used.
Then we are going to read multiple records, right? In Hyderabad there might be 100 employees, right? Then we are going to read 100 records. Can we store that 100 records data in work area?
No, sir. In
No, we
internal
can
table.
accept only a single record. For that, we need to use a internal table. When we are expecting more than one record, what is the data object we need to use?
Internal
Internal
table.
table.
Internal table.
Internal.
When we are expecting only a single record, then
It's
Work
very
area.
work area.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, it's during the running program only internal table multiple tables we can read, sir. You said
Huh.
once
Yes, yes.
program stopped, we can the memory will delete, the data will delete like that. You
Correct,
said.
correct, correct. So when you define, first you need to define. We have a keyword, right? Data statement. Using that
Yes,
data
sir.
statement, you need to define these data objects. And we need to read the data from database. And we are going to keep that in the data objects. We do some calculations. And once the program execution is completed, program itself deletes everything. Okay? You don't need
Okay,
to
sir.
do anything. It program will delete all the memory and data objects whatever created.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay? I'll give you an example how to identify whether you need to go with the work area, variable, or internal table. Let me give you an example. In a class, you want to find one student. You want to find one student where employee ID, student ID equal to 100. When you try to find that student with student number 100, how many members you can find? Let's say there
Only
is a
one.
class,
Only one, sir.
only one, right? By in a class there is a student and his ID is 100. When you are trying to search, you can find only one student, right?
Yes, sir.
When you are searching by employee ID, sorry, student ID, you are expecting a only single record. Then which data object you need to define?
Work
Work area.
area.
Work area.
Table.
Yes, work area, because you know that you can always get only a single record because you are searching, you are finding it by student ID. Student ID is unique. Two student cannot have same student ID, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
you are very sure that you are going to always get only a single record so that you can take a work area. And let's say you are trying to find the students using name, student name. For example, some Sinu. You are trying to find a student name called Sinu. How many students you can find? What is the possibility?
More than one, sir.
Internal.
There is a
More than
chance,
one.
right? There is a chance, right? Multiple students may have same name, right? Maybe this is not a very appropriate example because surname will be different, although names are same. But we don't, there is no guarantee. Even in some cases, surname also may be common, right?
Yes, sir.
There is a chance, right? At least. That is very rare, but there is a chance, right? For example, you are trying to find students from a particular village who's studying in that classroom. We can expect multiple entries, right? Students
Yes,
from
sir.
a same village or same city.
Yes, sir.
So in this case, what is the data object you have to take?
Internal.
Internal table.
Internal table, because we are expecting more than one record, right? At least one record. There might be more records too, right? In this case, we'll use a internal table. And you want to know and you want to read only only the employee marks, sorry, student marks whose student ID is 100. You don't want the rest of the information. You need only marks, only that value, right?
Yes, sir.
Constant you can use.
No, constants
Work
we cannot
area.
use.
Work area only. Oh, sorry. Single thing is work area. Okay.
Single value.
Value.
I'm not
Single
talking about
value.
single record. I'm not reading employee ID, employee name, and everything. I'm reading only the marks,
Variable.
work
total
area.
marks. We can take
Variable.
variable because we are reading only that single value, right? Marks. We are not, we don't want this ID, employee name, city, and everything. We just need the marks, single value. Or you want to know a city, you want to know the city of that student. You don't need the rest of the information. You are reading only a single value, right, at that time. So what is a suitable data object for that? Variable.
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 Okay. So constants, we assign the value manually, right? We don't read from the database and provide the value. Okay. Is everyone clear on the difference?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, to read the data from the database, first we need to apply select statements. Select statements, don't worry, even if you don't, if you are not able to remember, because we are going in detail later about the select statements. So we are going to read the data from database into internal table, and we process the data. For example, if you want to do some changes in the internal table, you read data from database table and keep in a internal table, and you want to apply some changes to the data. Can we directly change the can we apply changes to the internal table directly? No. First we move one record into work area and we do the changes. Second record into work area and we do the changes. Third record into work area, we do the changes. Okay. We move data from internal table to work area and do our changes. Okay. Clear? Both are associated. And if you want to insert some data into database table, can we directly insert data into database table? No. If you want to create some data in the database table, we cannot directly create it. First, we need to move the data to work area, record by record, and we need to add that work area to internal table. Or work area also we can use if it is only a single record. But if there are multiple records, add one record to work area and add that to internal table. Second record to work area and add that to internal table. By using that internal table or work area data, we are going to insert into database table. To read the data, we need data objects, or to create the data, we need data objects. Okay, clear? Is everyone clear on this?
Yes, sir.
So depends on the data type. So depends on the value. We are going to choose our data type and define that variables, work areas, constants. Okay, is everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
And
if we want to delete the record in the internet table,
we
so
have
what we have
keywords.
to do?
We have keywords. Here apply. Here you can observe delete keyword. You can delete by using some condition. If I want to delete employees where city equal to Hyderabad, you need to pass that condition. It will delete those records from the internal table. And
So
clear.
can we directly delete it in the internet table, or we have to go to again work area?
No need to go to work area. You can apply the condition on the internal table. So delete records where city equal to Hyderabad. All the records will be deleted. Okay. When you want to do some calculations, when you need to apply some calculations, at that time we move record by record into work area one by one and do apply the calculations. Okay. If you want to delete all the data from data objects, if you want to remove everything, what is the statement you can use? Clear.
Clear.
It will clear all the data from the work area or internal table or even variables also. Can we apply clear on constants?
No.
Yes,
No.
sir. If we want to
Even if
delete,
you
we
apply,
can.
it won't allow, because constant values cannot be changed, even cannot be cleared. Okay. Is everyone clear on this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So data objects are very important. Please observe this: variables, constants, and work areas. Okay. I'll just show how to create a simple program. Don't worry about it. In the next session, I'll explain in detailed. Okay. From the beginning, I'm just showing you now how to create a program using these data objects. So what is a transaction code? We need to use a transaction code, right, to perform any operation in SAP ABAP. So what is the development transaction code for programs? SE38. Enter the SE38 here and press enter. It will open the transaction code. Here you can access all the standard programs as well as custom programs. What is the difference between standard program and custom program? Standard programs are delivered by SAP. Standard programs are delivered by SAP as part of standard solutions, existing solution. What are the custom programs? Custom
To
programs are
enhance
something
the
which we
existing
are creating
application.
on our own, as per our custom requirement. Okay? Can we change the standard programs?
No, sir.
Whatever the programs provided by SAP, no, we cannot change. What we can do, for example, there is one program uh, that is working properly and that is suitable for my organization's requirement, but there are some changes needed, few additional changes needed. Can we change the program? Can we change that standard program? No,
No,
we
sir.
cannot change the standard
No, we
program.
can't change, but
Then
additionally
enhance,
we can enhance the
we can enhance that program. Okay.
Existing
So
applications.
yeah, we can keep the standard code as it is, and we can add the additional code using enhancements. Okay. And we can create our own program from the beginning. Okay. Please remember, all the objects, all the custom objects in SAP should starts with Z or Y. It can start with Z or Y. All the custom programs or custom objects, whatever you are creating on your own, the name should starts with which one? Z
Z
or Y.
or
or
Y.
Y.
Z or Y. That is mandatory. Whatever the custom object you are creating, that should starts with Z or that should starts with Y. That is mandatory. Okay. Is everyone clear? Now let me create a simple program. Z test underscore demo one. I'm giving some name. Okay. It's not case sensitive. It will automatically convert everything into uppercase. Um, you can only use underscore. No spaces should be allowed. No spaces, hyphens are not allowed. Or you can type in a single name like Z test demo, some name, but it doesn't look good. A continuous name doesn't look good. We can split the name by using underscore. Okay, like this. Okay, create it. Don't worry about the steps. I'll explain in details. I'm giving the program title, demo program. Type of the program is executable program, which accepts the input and return the output. Save it. Save the program. It is asking in which location you want to save. Package. Package is very important. Package is nothing but folder, kind of folder. When you are saving a file in your laptop, it will ask for the location, right? In which drive we want to save, right? Here we use package to separate the applications what we created for different functional modules. For example, if I am creating for sales and distribution, I save that program in one package. If I am creating material management, I save that program in another package, like that. We are going to organize these objects in package. Okay. There are additional required details and additional advantages of using package. We'll discuss that later. For now, I am selecting local object as my package. So save it locally. Click on this. Now a program is generated, a program is created. you can see report statement by default. The first line of the program should be this one, report. Clear? Please mute. So the first statement of the program should be report and the program name. Okay, that is mandatory. You don't need to worry about it. The program itself generate this. Then let me define one simple data object. How to define the data objects? What is the keyword?
Variables.
Data.
What
Data.
is the keyword? Data.
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 And I'll provide some name, lv underscore name, some name
Employee
I'm
name.
giving. Okay, you can give
Type.
any name you
Yes,
can
sir.
give, but provide some meaningful name so that when I look at that variable, I can easily identify, okay, why I am using this variable, what is the purpose of this variable. I can easily identify, right? Emp
Yes, sir.
name. I can,
Name.
by looking at this name, I can easily guess, okay, looks like this variable is being used for employee name,
Employee name.
right? For example, if you take like this, if you take LVCT and storing the employee name, that doesn't make sense, right? Still it will work,
Yes,
right?
sir.
It will work, but it doesn't look good. Type. What is the
C.
type of employee name?
Char.
Character,
Character.
C.
Yeah, character.
And assign the length.
Length.
Length, for example,
30.
40. Yeah, 30 or 40. Okay. Now, I've defined the variable. A memory is created, defined. What? So when we define it, memory will be created. Now, pass the value lv underscore name
Employee name.
equal to some name. Okay. Name of employee 100. Whatever the name you want, you can pass any name. Now, this value will be assigned to this variable. Why I'm using these single quotes? For character type
Because of
data,
character.
we need to use these single quotations, right? To pass the character type data. For numbers, you don't need to use for numerical data. Okay, clear? Wherever you are representing this character type data, you need to use, you need to keep that data inside single quotations.
Quotation.
Okay, now I've defined a value and I'm passing some value to the variable. Now I want to see the output, right? How to display the output in ABAP? We have a keyword. What is a keyword? Write. Write is the keyword to display the output.
Output.
Now, write lv underscore
Employee.
emp name. And every line of the code should ends with a dot. Okay, that is the rule. Now, my code is completed. Now, I'll check the syntax. First, save it. You can also use Control S and check the syntax. To check the syntax, this is the option we have, check. Or you can also use shortcut Control F2. Control F2 is the shortcut for syntax check. If there are any errors in the program, it will
Sir,
provide those
sir, in
errors.
the ninth line, we have given LV employee name in the lower case.
Ah, ABAP code is not case sensitive. Okay,
Yes,
it can
sir.
be either in uppercase or lowercase. It is not case sensitive. Okay, we have an option here called pretty printer option. Okay, we can maintain keywords in uppercase and rest of the values in lowercase, or everything is in uppercase. In settings, utilities settings, we have a option here. Let me show you pretty printer option. What they have selected? So indent they are maintaining and convert uppercase to lowercase. What they have selected? Everything into uppercase. That's why it converted everything into uppercase. So I want to select uppercase keywords. Uppercase keywords. Continue. Now click on pretty printer. Now it converted only the keywords into uppercase and the rest of the values into rest of the code into lowercase. Doesn't make any effect on your program output. It is just for our look and feel. Okay, just for
Okay,
look and
sir.
feel. You can write in either in uppercase or lowercase. Okay, write statement is used to display the output. Now check the syntax. No syntax errors found because there is no syntax errors. And activate it. Is it active? The program is inactive. Activate this. This is the option to activate the program. As long as program is inactive, you cannot execute it. Okay. To execute the program should be in active.
Active.
Okay. How the syntax check will work? For example, I've typed the data statement incorrectly. Now check the syntax. What is saying? What it is saying? The statement DAT is not expected. A correct similar statement is
Data.
data. It is proposing, hey, this may not be a correct value. This might be this is the correct value. Data might be the correct value. It is proposing something, right? If you think that is correct, just click on here. Correct errors. It will automatically correct that error. Okay, clear? For example, I typed the variable name incorrectly. Here I have defined variable name LV underscore EMP name, and in the next line when I am assigning the name, I have used some incorrect name. Check the syntax. What is it saying? The field LVEMPNAM is unknown, but there is a field with similar value LV underscore EMP name. In which line? The error is in which line? Line number
8.
8. Line number 8. Just click here. It will take you to that line number automatically. If you click on the error, it will take you to the line number automatically. The cursor will automatically go to that line. Okay. If you want to auto correct, just click on here, or you can also manually correct this. Okay, and check the syntax. No syntax errors found, then activate it. Now let's check how to execute. I'm done with my code. Now execute the program. This is the option to execute the program, or F8. You can also press F8. So when you are using laptops, right, there is a function key. You need to check that. You need to activate that function key. You can directly press F8. Otherwise, some value, these kind of options will work. Okay. Now execute it. Press F8 or this option. Execute. Now it is displaying this value as output. Whatever the variable available, whatever the value available in the variable, it is just displaying. Okay. Let me enter lowercase values. Activate it. Control F3 is the shortcut to activate the program. Execute. Now it will displaying in lowercase. But when you are saving in the database, right, it will automatically convert data into which case? Uppercase. If there is no case sensitive option selected for that field. Okay. Is everyone clear on this? If you want to clear the
Yes, sir.
value, clear, and like this you can clear the value LV underscore EMP name. And if you want to pass a new value, you can pass LV underscore EMP name equal to 200. Right? Now which value will be displayed? Activate the program. Whenever you do the changes, you have to activate your program. Check the syntax and activate the program. Looks like there is error. CLEAR, clear. There is a typo. Activate now. Now tell me what is the expected output. First I am passing one value, and then again I am passing a different value. Now tell me what is the expected output.
Name of
Name of 200.
Name of 200, because the first value is going to be cleared and it will be updated with the new value. Okay.
So if we not apply the clear
It will
LV.
override the value. It will override this value with new value. You don't need to worry about it. But it is recommended to clear.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Let me remove this. Commented. I commented the code using control left arrow, or you can also apply star in front of the code. It will be commented. That's not going to work. Okay. Clear? Now execute it. Name of 200 because the previous value is being overwritten by this value. Okay. Any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Clear,
getting some
sir.
clarity on data objects. So in the
Yes, sir.
next session onwards, we are going to work on the programs, and don't worry about the program and programming. Okay. We are going to learn from the basics. You can easily understand. Okay. Only thing is you need to practice.
Yeah, sure, sir.